On the clock, these guys share that entire minute, and let's start with the highlights you just saw. Browns going to Nashville to face off with the Titans. What are we watching here? Nate Dogg.
I'll just keep it simple. It's a battle of beasts. Beast in the backfield, of course, they're looking at Chubb and Hunt, and then the king, Derrick Henry, but also wide receiver play. Jarvis Landry was fantastic last week. He stepped up big for his team, and he's going to need to, because teams are going to start to load the box and try to stuff the run game for the Browns. And if guys like Jarvis Landry step up, they'll be tough to beat.
Emmitt Smith used to face Barry Sanders once every couple years, and it would be hyped up as the greatest matchup ever. Here's the running backs. I honestly think, with all due respect to Dalvin Cook and Saquon and Christian McCaffrey, who aren't on the field, Chubb and Henry might be the best running backs in all of football. So if this is the showcase game of the weekend, I cannot wait to see two of the best running backs in all of football and power backs go at it. It's just it's a delightful game, and it is old school, especially in December.
If Barry had Emmett's line, he would have rushed for 3,000 yards.
That was the argument.
3,000 yards. And Moose Johnston, forget about it. On Monday, there should be a national celebration if the Browns win this game. The Browns will be 9-3. You understand the last time the Browns were 1993 or 9-3? It was Bill Belichick was their head coach. And the last time before that was 1968. LBJ, hello. This is a huge deal. I think the Browns are going to win this game, and they'll be 9-3. Boom.
Love the running backs in this one, guys. Since the start of 2018, Nick Chubb leads the NFL with 16 100-yard games. Who's second on that list? Derrick Henry on the other side, of course. Okay, Colts going to Houston. They're taking on the Texans. It's an AFC South showdown. What has you excited about this one? Peter Schrager.
Don't look now. Deshaun Watson's playing incredible football, and the Texans could end up being the spoilers of the entire AFC playoff picture. The Colts had a bad loss, obviously, last week. Was not their best day. Texans had a great win, little momentum, even without Will Fuller and without Bradley Roby. I think the Texans now might be that team no one wants to play because they're annoyingly good and out of the playoff picture.
And that's just it. Deshaun Watson is playing so well. Hasn't thrown an interception in about 2 months. And you look at the Colts last week in that loss, they gave up a season-high 52 points. So if I'm Deshaun Watson going into this game, you know he's ready to cook. These are two quarterbacks heading in different directions. While Deshaun Watson is ascending, Phillip Rivers isn't playing so well.
If Barry had Larry Allen and Nate Newton and Jay Novacek and Mike, 3,000 yards. It still makes me mad.
That's a fact.
It makes me. He would have had a 400-yard game easily. Phillip Rivers, it's December. Buckle up, everybody. We've seen great Decembers. We've seen terrible Decembers. Last week was so disappointing. That was the week they were going to announce themselves as mattering. It really was a setback. Which Phil Rivers are we going to get? There's only one. There is no middle. I hope it's the good one. We'll find out this weekend.
Deshaun Watson against the Colts is kind of his kryptonite in that division, guys. He's 2-3 in his career against Indy, 9-2 against his other AFC South opponents. Bengals traveling to Miami to face off against the Dolphins. What is intriguing you, Nate, about this one?
What's going on with the quarterback position? All of a sudden I get excited because Fitzpatrick is back on the field, and I feel like he's going to be that guy that can lead these guys in December. But now I'm hearing that Tua had the thumb last week. They set him out, and he might play again. If this was any other team, any other coach, I would question and be like, what are you doing? But the fact that Flores has made every decision with so much confidence, I'm not mad if Tua is playing.
It was supposed to be Tua versus Burrow.
No.
This is the one, baby. We all circled it after the draft. We're not getting it, so this is what we have to live with. My question, it sounds similar to the Phil Rivers thing. With all the uncertainty at quarterbacks, here's what we know for certain. The Fitzpatrick coaster goes down. It will go down. I don't know if it's going to be this week. I actually think it's a couple weeks from now. But as soon as we get excited...
but that high.
Always.
The high is good.
The high is great. You can see the whole parking lot. Look at this place. But it will go down. I don't think this week, but it's coming.
Wide open race for Defensive Player of the Year, a name we don't talk about enough. Xavier Howard leads the league in interceptions, having a better season than Stephon Gilmore had last year. If there's an argument to be made, a couple picks against the Bengals wouldn't hurt.
And we will have, can I just say this is going swimmingly today?
In studio.
Mad Minute. This is, I'm very impressed.
In studio.
We'll have Ian Rappaport on to give us the update on Tua as they hope to have him back from that thumb injury. Now, the Vikings host the Jaguars in Minnesota. What are we keeping an eye on in this one? Trace, back to you. Keep it going, baby. Let's go.
We got a hot potato here, and I'll tell you, we got a hot quarterback too, Kirk Cousins. Kyle, you just said Ryan Fitzpatrick ultimately has that game where can you not say the same thing about Kirk Cousins? Kay said he's a must-start in fantasy.
No, I'm terrified.
And I'm biting my lips. I'm like, I know on paper, and maybe it feels that way. Jaguars at Vikings, and yet it does ultimately feel like Kirk Cousins stubs his toe here because that's what he's done. Can he prove us wrong and keep the Vikings alive?
Yeah, I think he's going to continue to play well. 12 TDs, 1 interception over the last 5 games. So he's at a different level right now. He's not the Kirk Cousins. And, you know, him getting that primetime win, that was a big deal.
The Monday night game?
Yeah, he was celebrating like, I finally got that monkey off my back. But a large part of their success is Justin Jefferson. I'm going to do a Burleson a little later on. This dude is not playing like a rookie. He is next level.
Peter, after they beat the Saints in the playoffs, you got up to the big screen and were a drum major saying, I don't want to hear it. It's over. It's not over, is it? It's not over.
It haunts him. It's just...
But neither is their season. They're rooting against the Arizona Cardinals this weekend. The Vikings still could get in this thing, but really have to play perfect football. I got to win.
Can you see this being just a big Dalvin Cook game?
Yeah, hell yes.
I kind of hope it is.
Me too. Let's go.
James Robinson.
Remember how pissed he got when asked if he wears down? We're going to get into that.
The Jaguars guys have only beaten the Vikings once in their history, back in 2001. Whose glory days were those?
That was Mark Brunell.
Yes, it was the Mark Brunell glory days. Okay, more Good Morning Football. That was a perfect Mad Minute. We're doing it again. I don't know if we could do it better. I don't know if we could do better than that. We'll see. At GMFB, hit us with your tweets for Week 13. Guess who was mic'd up last week? Joey Bosa. We're giving it to you next.
He likes everything on the smorgasbord. He's got a lot of guys he can throw to. He's very good at throwing short, intermediate, and deep. He's very good at throwing on the move. I mean, the only modern quarterback, modern meaning the last 20, 25 years that I can really compare him to is Aaron Rodgers. You know, I think John Elway was kind of Patrick Mahomes in the 80s and 90s. And since then, I think it's Aaron Rodgers for sure. Those two guys have some very similar qualities.
Hall of Fame names there, Schrags. Remember Smorgasburg when that was a thing?
Yeah, I was in Williamsburg every weekend.
Such a good time, not anymore. Maybe sometime in the future. Mahomes and the Chiefs still sitting in that number 2 spot. Looking at the AFC playoff picture, Steelers undefeated and would be the only team to get a bye, of course, in this conference. Are the Chiefs the team to beat, Nate, in the AFC?
Yes, they are. And I don't want the Steelers to feel like I'm disrespecting them, but it's for multiple reasons. One, they are the defending champs. Like, this is the Super Bowl champions we're talking about. And then on top of that, you listen to the way coaches speak on Patrick Mahomes. He can do everything. He went through a long list, and I'm just listening. Keep going. Short passes, intermediate passes, deep passes, over the middle. He can run. He can extend plays with his legs. He's saying all these things. And then on top of that, he has a group of the best pass catchers in the business. Tyreek Hill, phenomenal. Maybe the most dangerous dude in the game. Travis Kelce, an absolute legend and will be a Hall of Famer. And then complementary pieces at wide receiver and running back. They can do it all. Now, when you look at the game that the Steelers played up against the Ravens, now I said I'm not going to knock them because there were a lot of conditions, a lot of circumstances. The offense didn't have a rhythm. Name a game when you're watching the Chiefs that they just couldn't get their rhythm. At some point, they always get points. So for me, I'm looking at the Chiefs as the team to beat.
I can name a game. They're on their home field, and they lost to the Raiders. And they lost to the Raiders.
How long ago was that?
Several weeks ago. How long ago was the Steelers' last loss? Not even in this year. I think it's the Steelers' name. We're in this weird thing where everyone's saying the Steelers are overrated. They're overrated. They're overrated. Are they? It seems to me that all anybody does is knock them and needle them and poke holes in them. If anything, I feel like the Steelers are approaching being underrated now. And now we have the coup de grace. Now everyone's jumping in saying, well, Bud Dupree's out for the year, so they're done. Without Bud Dupree, this team might finish 11-5. He does everything for them. Let me show you what the defense does for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're very deep. These are all guys who've had sacks this season.